Do you own one of these? Lots of people do. You turn it on and the output is hardly anything. How do you fix this? Well, new, it'll cost you about 75 bucks. But if you hang around, I'll show you how to fix this for $1. All you need is a screwdriver and the one component that you need to get this thing fixed. Brad Williams. Grit DIY? Stay tuned. Let me point out a few things we're going to need in order to fix this electric fan. We're going to need a voltmeter, Phillips head screwdriver, and the key component, a $1 capacitor. New, this is $72. We're going to fix this with this $1 capacitor. It's pretty straightforward and simple. Hang tight and I'll show you how we're going to do this. All you need to do to disassemble this fan is remove this section. It's just snapped in here. Then we're going to take off the fan and then this back plate. Then there's a couple other things we're going to need to take off. All you need is a screwdriver. To remove it, we'll find the snap-in area right there. All you're going to do is push in around this thing until it releases. That's simple. Now this goes on counterclockwise. If you're going to tighten, you usually go clockwise. To loosen this thing, you're going to go clockwise. Here it says tighten. It has this arrow going the opposite way. So just unscrew it. Pop this off. Then we have this piece right here. Comes off. Pull this off. Like that. Then you have 2 screws. Keep track of your screws. I like to just put them back in where I unscrewed. Oh, and then you have this 3rd screw right here. And just work it off. Put this back in here so you don't lose the screw. That's it, really. That's all we're working with here. And the culprit is going to be, this is your capacitor right here. Most likely doesn't work. And I'll show you how to test this. Now to test this, I have this cheap little multimeter. We're going to turn it to, it says cap. We're going to turn it there. We're going to go 0, 0. And this reading says, if you look real close, it says 2 UF and it has some other readings. What we're going to test to see if this reads at least 2 UF, and we're going to go through with this and find the right setting. I think we're going to go to this reading here. The problem you're going to have, if this is still in place when you test it, you're not going to have access to any wire. Now I sort of cheated and I went ahead and I scraped away a little bit of plastic here, and I will try to get a reading. And I don't know if I'm going to be successful. This might be tough. Might be easier for me just to put it on the ground. You could see where I scraped away some of the plastic. And here's the reading. I'm finding it nearly impossible to get a good reading off of this. I decided to remove it from its mount, and I have better access to this thing. You can see that I scraped away the plastic, but I'm not getting a very good reading. The bad thing here is there's no indicator as to what's positive and what's negative, and that might not matter here. But I'll give it a shot. Red here on the left, and the negative. And I've been getting readings of, this one says 4 and then 0, if you can see this. It's not doing anything here. Let's try reversing it. And earlier I was getting really radical readings, and now I'm not getting anything, which is no surprise. 1, 9, and let's reverse it. Let's try it again. And then we're not getting anything reversing. And so now it goes to 10. And I have the new capacitor. I put alligator clips on here so I can get a better reading. And this is clear, black and red. It's pretty self-explanatory. Do this. I'll attach the negative here and the positive here. And you can see right off the bat, it went to 2.22, and I've done this time and time again, and you see how quick and easy that reading was. It's a good indicator that this capacitor is bad. Now my problem, in my haste, I thought this alignment was similar to this alignment, and they're not. And this one's actually much larger. So I'm gonna have to come up with a compromise here. It may not work. I might just have to modify this to the point where I just use some straps and I strap this thing back together. We'll see, but I kind of screwed that up in a big way. What I'm gonna do is clip the wire here, remove that. I'm gonna strip these. I don't know if I can do this, but we'll give it a shot. I think this is 14 gauge. And here, 14 gauge. Strip it back a little bit. I like to just spin it around a little, try to cut around. I don't have a lot of room to work here. I'm gonna hold it so you don't tear out the system. I'm gonna use these alligator clips, and I'm just going to connect these two the best I can. This is purely a test, and I don't recommend you do this. What I'm going to do is see if this works, to see if it was the capacitor. Yeah, I know you're saying safety first. Well, this is safety first. So what I did, I'm just using these alligator clips. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to turn this on first, so I'm not touching anything, because if it blows up, I don't want to be around it. Okay, I got power right there. If this works, this little doodad will start spinning. Fingers crossed. Look at that. It's unplugged. No power. There could be some juice in here. You need to ground those. So what you do is you touch these together to degenerize. Then remove that. Here, you never want to do what I just did. It's not plugged in, but you don't want these touching each other. My limited knowledge of power, electricity says negatives and positives are not supposed to touch each other. Plug this back in. So now the next thing here is, how do I mount this larger capacitor here to this piece here? This is much larger. I'm thinking of going underneath. If you put this under here, and there's a couple different screw settings here. What if we just did this? You can see that little hole, those two holes. I'm gonna go over the inside one, because that's where the other one was. Since I'm dry fitting this whole thing, I think this is gonna be sticking out too far, because this other piece right here has got to go over, and all this stuff on the side here is creating all kinds of problems. Yeah. Again, I'm just shooting from the hip here. I think this is going to be a problem. Next fix would be to remove this screw. I would probably say stay away from Alibaba. They don't give you anything for instructions inside in terms of measuring the size of this compared to this other one. And then you can sort of wing and ding it here. All right, well, that is a really ad hoc way of doing it. If you look closely, it's just gonna sit there free. I don't use this for too much of anything. Since we're here, why don't we take 30 seconds and reassemble this thing and see if it worked. I'm doing this just to dry run it to see what the overall outcome's gonna be. All right, all I'm doing is putting these screws back together. I'm gonna put this frame back on, reinstall this like so, throw the screws back in, then turn this backwards to tighten it. And again, I'm not putting the safety stuff on here. Plug it in. And it's warming up. For $1, the fan is working now. That's about full power. I think that's pretty close to where originally. To reassemble this thing, I have a couple of these connectors. Yep, they might be too big. We'll see. Screw them in, and I don't know if this will work. They might be too big. Yeah, I need one smaller size. Just gonna use electrical tape to secure these. I generally just try to start at the bottom here. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. And I'll just clip that off with a pair of scissors. Yeah, this is tough when it's chilly outdoors to get this stuff to work and to get this stuff to hold. This is about as ad hoc as you can get. Let's see how that works. Yeah, the only thing I want to do, I just want to make sure I can get this back into here. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna, I think this thing's gonna have to sit like this. This can move up and down, and I can turn this. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna put this screw in, because that's the only thing that's absolutely critical here. So I get this screw in here. Does this thing turn? Yeah. And does this move up and down? Kinda, yeah. All I'm gonna do is turn this thing on and let it run for a bit to see if it blows up. Turn it on. Center it. There you go. Voila. That's an easy dollar fix. Give me your thoughts. Was I reckless? Is this the way you would do it? If you have one of these fans and it's not spinning, well, you can always go online, buy the capacitor. I mentioned how to do this. Just make sure if it's a 2 UF, you just buy the same UF. Be sure to get the right size. And I wouldn't go to Alibaba. For this particular example, I didn't want to spend any money, or hardly any money. It works. I'll continue to use this thing. Just be careful. One, in terms of electricity, this stuff will kill you if you are not extremely careful. Second, make sure you have your connections correct. Be sure to ground things when you have to. And in worst case scenario, just spend $75 and buy a new fan. Comment. Brad Williams, Grit DIY. Thanks for watching. Hope that helped. See you soon.